Alrighty, no pun intended. Episode 10. We have chess.com's February fair play numbers. That'll be interesting to jump into. We have my favorite chess creator of all time releasing a new project, so we'll get a handle on that. That's not a chess podcast without some Kramnik news, Kramnik adventures, and we have some questions from our listeners. Thank you for submitting questions. But first, we have just shipped our beginner course, Matt. It is live.
It is live. Currently, it's available for pre-sale and it's going to be completely ready probably within the next week. I'm super excited for this course, Jesse.
Yeah, so what is it about? It's a bunch of game reviews of roughly 1,200 rated people beating 800s. Is that right?
Yep, that's pretty close. It's players between 800 and 1100 OTB, USCF approximately, beating people below 800. And I picked 30 games, so I kind of combed through a whole list of games, chose 30 of them, and they're ordered from lowest rating to highest, so they get a little bit more advanced as we go. And then Matt, Presta J, went through and created a massive PGN text file that explains essentially every single move. So it's similar to logical chess move by move, except that we're using beginner games and not grandmaster games. So it's like, here's mistakes that beginners are actually making, how to punish them. And then you got Matt Presta J's notes in PGN format. And then I do video recaps. And as each game goes, we progress in what we teach you. So like things will only get repeated 2 or 3 times. And then after that, we layer on something more advanced without saying again, like, hey, 1E4 gets your bishop and queen out. We're not saying that on on game 20.
Right, yeah, it's like what was the book we recommended that we've recommended? I can't remember the name of it. Oh, Logical Chess, Move by Move.
Yeah.
It's like that book, but they don't say the same thing in every single game.
Yeah. So that's the idea. It's like an improved version. That was the inspiration, logical chess move by move. Um, we also have quizzes for each game. So it's like a test your understanding at the end of each game. You
Hmm.
will have the text right by the video, right? So you can watch the video, you can see the text to refer back to things, and then you get quizzes. And I only have, I think, 3 videos left to record. I believe I'm done with 27 right now.
Yeah, that was crazy. And you're spending what, like 20 minutes on each game, something like that?
Yep, between 10 and 20 minutes usually.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. So I think that's going to be good for a lot of people, all the way up to like the 1,500 range, just to really nail the fundamentals. And we are running a sale right now. So I think the coupon we can use is lucky for everybody. Is that right?
Yep, that's correct.
Cool. And that'll get you, is it 35% off of any course?
Yeah, that's right. So that's for St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, awesome. So St. Patty's Day sale, I gotta say, this is probably one of our most successful sales that we've run. It's so fun to see the people buying and giving us good feedback. And one little nugget about chess goals is the more courses you buy, the steeper discounts we give you. But you have to be on the email list in order to take advantage of that. That's kind of like a secret code we have for chess goals.
And how do you get on the email list if you're not on it?
Yeah, you can sign up for one of our courses, or you can go to chessgoals.com/study plans. There's a lot of ways. We should make a simple URL to join the mailing list.
Yeah, that's a great idea. But I always recommend if you don't have any of our courses yet, start with the Chess Goals Blueprint. It'll just give you day by day checklists on how to improve your chess.
Yep, and
It's
you can
free.
try any of our, yep, it's free. And you can try any of our other courses completely free. We have a few other courses that are 100% free. That is our Vienna course, and we have a few other quick starts too.
And Smithy's Minis,
Oh yeah, I
that's
forgot
a
about
good
that
one
one.
too.
Yep. Yeah, so February's chess.com fair play numbers.
Ooh.
I saw this in a tweet from chess.com. Guess how many cheating reports there were in February? And keep in mind, Kramnik played all month.
I looked at these numbers and I was about to pull it up until you started asking the question. How many cheat reports total?
Yep, yep.
It's in the millions, isn't it?
336,000.
Oh, wow. That's
Yeah.
so many.
Yeah, maybe they filtered out all of Kramnik's. But of those, 57,000 accounts were closed. So 50,000 people were cheating on chess.com just in this last month.
Yeah, that's hard to believe. I mean, I guess with so many players, what percentage? I think I saw the percentage in Reddit. It was a pretty low percentage of total players still.
Yeah, because there's a ton of people on chess.com at all times. Like if you check at basically any time of the day, there's 100,000 people playing on chess.com, which is absolutely crazy. Um, and of those 57,000 accounts closed, eight of them were title players.
That's the craziest part to me. Like you
Yeah.
spend your whole life, dedicated to chess. You get a title, and then your account's linked to your name, and then you cheat online. Um, I think they should be even harsher with the title player. Like, say if
Y-
you cheat online, that should be published somewhere. Hey, chess.com thinks you cheat.
Yep. Yeah, I think you name names like I am and beyond.
Yeah.
Uh, so of the title players, there was two candidate masters, four FIDE masters, four FMs, an IM and a women's international master. So that's pretty crazy. No GMs or anything like that. Um, some other funny stats: 70,000 mute actions. It's like muting your opponent. 64,000 accounts muted. 134,000 abuse closures. Not sure what that means. Oh, this is funny. Over 22 million rating points refunded.
Yeah. Inflation.
Yeah. I'm at a pretty good rating on chess.com, 1700, where I almost never face cheaters. I don't remember ever getting a rating refund, probably in the last year on chess.com. So I hardly ever see that my rating range.
I feel the same. I don't see cheaters very often either.
I recently created a new account on chess.com. Don't tell
Oh,
anyone because it
yes.
might be against the terms of service. And I basically sack a piece as early as I can and try to win. And I did have rating refunded to me once in that, like one of my very first games, I lost to a cheater.
Let's see if people can guess your rating. So what lay out the stakes again? What time control do you play? What do you
Okay,
do?
so on chess.com, I'm rated 1700-ish when I'm playing normally, maybe a little higher, 1720, something like that. Um, in this new account, I basically sack a piece, not looking for any compensation at all. I'll basically just like hang a knight without capturing an F pawn or like any good pawn. I'll just like basically play without a knight. Guess my rating after maybe 20, 30 games. Guess where I'm rated. And I'll give a pause for suspense. But I'm up to about 1200, and I think that's about where I'm going to stay. 18 Cody thinks I play better without a piece. 1800. No, I'm
I
about
like it.
1200. So that's 500 rating points for a piece. Do you think that's too much?
I think if you practice it, you will be higher rated.
Okay. I
Yeah,
haven't played
I think you can get to 1400.
1400. I'll keep pushing. But it's really fun because your margin for error is very low, even against like 1200s. Like they know the strategy of trading off pieces. And
Mm-hmm.
so a lot of the times there's not a good way to avoid it. So you kind of just have to trade and hope they blunder. And a lot of the times they actually do. But it's hard to just like strategically play your way back into position. Almost always they give a piece back or hang a rook or a fork or something like that.
And you
So
do
you kind
the
of have to play for
hedgehog.
tricks.
You do the hedgehog strategy, right?
Yeah, so I'll play like what's funny because when I play white, I'll often play E3 or D3, and very often I get aborted. People are like, I'm not playing that, abort.
Huh.
So it's nice when I'm black, they play E4. I'll just play, whatever, E6, D6, and just like put my knight there. And I normally hang a knight on move like four, basically as soon as they take it.
I think it's good you hang a knight and not a bishop because the bishops can be super valuable in odds chess.
Yeah, for sure. I try to keep my bishops as long as I can. And a lot of times, since they're up a piece, they'll just be happy to, trade their bishop for a knight for no reason at all, just because it gets another set of pieces off the board. But that can really hurt long term.
Do you do H3 and A3 to prevent the pins on your knights?
Um, Not always, but maybe I should start doing that. before bringing the knights out, do H3 and A3?
Yeah. So I have a Queen Odds account. I think this was kind of the inspiration for Jesse's Peace Odds account, where I do
Yeah.
the same thing. I just play Blitz. I give up my queen right off the bat. Don't take anything for it. I just put it on an open square and let him go capture it. I found if I play A3 and H3, it helps because they don't get the bishop for knight trade, which is just one valuable piece that I don't want to lose.
Okay, that's good to know. Pro tips being down a piece. I like it.
Yeah. So it's like
Is
E3, D3, G3, B3, A3, H3. And then I go bring the knights in to E2 and D2 usually.
you're like drawing a W with your pawns almost.
Mm-hmm.
So what's your advice if you find yourself down like a rook in an OTB game? What are you trying to go for?
Back rank mate.
Just go for the simple main ones. We
Yeah.
generally want to not trade pieces. Do you want to keep, do you like closing up the position as much as possible?
Down a rook. I can't remember the last time I've played out a game down a rook OTB. That's a hard question. I
Well, like when you're playing queen odds games, are you trying to close positions or open it up or what are you trying to do?
I'm starting closed positions for sure. Yeah. So I start
Okay.
very closed. I wait to see which way they castle. I usually castle the opposite side and pawn storm. Um, but I play very trick based chess, right? So I'm just constantly laying trap after trap after trap. If I don't do that, the players are too strong all the time. And when I do lay all the traps, that's when I'm getting like around 50%.
Yeah, nice. And what's your rating on that account?
It fluctuates between like 1350 and 1450, somewhere in there.
That's that's so legit.
I mean, I flag a lot of people too at 3-0. Like if they can't beat me quick, I can usually just play fast.
Yeah. Well, a dub's a dub, I gotta say.
They do.
How
Okay, Josh said, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
how often do they not take the queen after you've offered it?
I would say maybe like one out of every 10 games they don't take the queen. And then usually what I'll do is like I'll put my like let's say their e pawns up or something. I'll maneuver my queen so I can just plant her on e7 with check, and they have no option but to take. Like I don't really want to like take their f7 pawn or something. I want them to still develop naturally, so I'll just force them to take the queen.
Great. Yeah, a lot of the time it's like let's say there's a pawn on e4, I'll just put my knight on d5 so it can be captured and they'll
Nice.
like castle, but they won't even see it and then I'll castle. They're like they're just he just leaving his knight there this whole time. And very often they like take a lot of time and like okay, what's going on here? Then they just capture like what am I missing? It's like you're not missing anything. Just take the piece, dude.
Because your username kind of mentions that it's a peace odds account, right?
Yeah, it says no, my chess.com account is no piece, no prob. I'll have to link it in the show notes.
Yeah.
I was gonna do a 1200 speed run, but I didn't. I'm just playing for fun.
Yeah, because we weren't sure like if you do a speed run, we need to refund people points and things like that.
Yeah. So if you're interested in watching me play down a piece and see how I try to win, let us know in the comments. Maybe I'll make a video about it.
I think we should do that at the end of a podcast. If we have like people still watching, we should do either the peace odds or queen odds. That'd be fun.
That's a good point. All right. My favorite chess creator. I hinted at this at the top of the episode, but when I was first learning how to play chess, I was living in Berkeley, California. Every single night, he would post three videos at midnight Central Time. So at 10 o'clock my time, I would get a rapid game. So I think it was like a game in 15. I'd get a blitz game with analysis. It was either 3-0 or 5-0, and then like a series of bullet games. And I didn't even know how to move the pieces at all. I would literally watch his bullet videos over and over and over just to see how the pieces moved, just to get like the natural flow of the game without knowing anything about the strategy, anything about what's even happening in the position, but just like picking up small patterns like, okay, he's moving his pawns 2 squares earlier on. A lot of the time he's recapturing with knights. He's moving his knights and bishops forward. And this guy has become a legend in the chess world, but I was one of his day ones. Of course, I'm talking about a fellow Minnesotan. international master, John Bartholomew. I am a huge fan of his, have been for years and years. Matt has actually played him over the board a few times, right?
I've stayed at his house. I've slept at his house.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, we were good buddies when we were younger. I mean, he was a super strong player. Actually, I remember the first time I met him. Um, I was in probably second grade, and I was like the K through 3 state champion, and he had never played in a tournament. And his dad like introduced me to him, and he was beating me. I ended up winning the game, but I was like, "Who is this guy?" Like he was super good. He had never even played in a tournament. And back then, this was before like playing online was very common. You weren't really good unless you played in a lot of tournaments. It was
Huh.
super rare that someone would just like show up and start beating people.
So
But
he was just like a total savant, like
yeah,
miracle prodigy kid.
yeah, he's really
That's so
good. He's a good
crazy.
basketball player too.
Yeah. Uh, I know he's torn a couple of his ACLs, maybe both of them playing basketball, so I hope he's taking it a little
Mm,
easier. I just had a friend who tore his Achilles playing basketball like 2 days before his kid was born. So
yikes.
why are we talking about the GOAT, John Bartholomew? He just released a new website and a newsletter is coming out soon, so you can check that out. JohnBartholomewChess.com. And he has said on stream that he's hoping that he gets his first newsletter out within the next couple weeks. Um, John has been working tirelessly on a Scandi master course, and so I think he's launching this site to kind of promote that and just get people's interest in just what he's doing over there. And he has a ton of resources on his site, so he has a whole a bunch of different articles for improvement, his recommendations, a bio, all kinds of stuff on johnbartholomewchess.com. We will link that in the show notes. I feel forever indebted to John for all the videos he's put up over the years. He like worked me all the way from a 400 level chess player, probably all the way up to like 1200, just watching his videos before I really did anything else.
I remember I was like using the treadmill quite a bit around that time when he was posting 3 a day, and I would watch them on the treadmill. And the thing that I like about watching John is chess feels so simple when you watch John. He's
So
just,
simple.
yeah, super solid, like even to the point of playing like boring drawish openings. And then it's like his opponent makes a little mistake, little mistake, little mistake. And then before you know it, John's just like completely crushing them. And just watching the style of how he plays and trying to think, okay, is he going to do this? And then seeing what he does. And like, okay, nope, not that time. And then, is he going to do this? Okay, that did match what I think. But then after he would review all the games, and this is like the best series ever on YouTube in terms of instructional and not clickbaity or, gimmicky gambits or things. He's just like, here's how to play solid chess.
Yeah, for sure. Um, who are some of your other favorite YouTubers or chess creators? I think we got into this a little bit last time.
I feel bad I don't watch a lot of chess on YouTube. I'll watch like the live events. I like the SCC. Um, but I don't have any regular YouTubers that I watch that stream chess.
Yeah, I don't really watch a whole lot anymore just because I like am a little burned out of all the different chess content out there these days. But yeah, some of my favorite, I see the chat is mentioning Naroditsky. He does all kinds of really good stuff. He does those like climbing the rating ladder style videos where he plays lower rated players and just dissects everything slowly, move by move. Um, Gotham Chess, very entertaining, hilarious dude. He's done a lot to grow the game. Here's a fun fact about Gotham Chess. So we have a blog post on our site called "How to Get a GM Norm." It's like three things you need to know about getting a GM norm. And anytime Gotham Chess is playing in a tournament, that post gets so much more traffic. It's like 100 times more traffic just from him playing, and everyone's googling like, is he going to get a GM norm? Is he going to become a grandmaster? He's a ways off though.
You know the norm counts for John and Levy?
John has one norm and Levy has zero norms, I believe.
Okay.
Yep. So I remember John made a big push for GM. It was maybe like 5 years ago, and he got up to maybe 2480. And I know he was half a point away from a GM norm in a Charlotte tournament. but he ended up drawing his last round instead of winning to get the norm, or maybe that must have been it, yeah. So he didn't quite get it, and he had a few really good performances, but couldn't quite crack a norm. And after doing maybe like 7 or 8 tournaments like that, I think he put it on the back burner.
It's stressful. It's a lot of preparation. And I mean, he does chess for his job. So you're doing chess all day is your job, and then you're trying to study chess and grind at getting the GM. That'd be a lot of work.
Yeah, that's for sure tough. So last week, Vladimir Kramnik played the title Tuesday, and impossibly, who's he get matched up against? He gets paired against Jospam, which is a player that he is very publicly accused of cheating, not reading, not thinly veiled accusations, just saying this guy's cheating, and he loses last week, and then the fate should have it. Who's he get paired against next? Hans Niemann, and Hans Niemann beats him too. And he went on Twitter talking about, oh, here's the average. Here's the like, whatever he does, like here's the rating average or the accuracy average. And he like has some weird table that he always goes through, and no one knows what he's talking about. But one of my favorite things is he included Andrew Tang and his average in the last Title Tuesday. And Andrew Tang on Twitter says, "Mr. Kramnik, I did not play in Title Tuesday this week."
Yeah, the
So
stats are wrong.
yeah, your stats are wrong. I think it was actually Andrew Hong, and he just kind of grouped them together.
Wow. Wow. Do you want to know a little secret about the Title Tuesday pairings?
Yeah.
So I'm a chess.com staff member and I've, seen some of the behind the curtain stuff. They actually you can like click and drag and switch the pairings. They purposely did the Kramnik Jaspa match twice.
Are you serious? No, he's not serious. He had us. Who believed it? Who believed it? I want to believe that. That'd be so cool.
Yeah, that would be hopefully it is true.
All right, and then this week, Kramnik plays Title Tuesday. And who's he get paired against again? Jospam, Jose Martinez. And this is the full game. E4, E6, D4, Kramnik resigns. Resigns in one move, and incredibly poor sportsmanship. Let me get the email up
You
that he
know,
posted on.
I was thinking about this in terms of like game theory point of view. If you're someone who is publicly being accused of being a cheater, it does feel a little bit bad on the inside, right? Like you feel, you know, they're attacking your morals. But at the same time, it's complimenting you. It's saying, hey, you're such a good player at Blitz that I think you're cheating. But then I was thinking more about this. If it also secures you wins because people resign on move one or they change their play because they think you're suspicious, like Hikaru for some reason doesn't seem to try to outplay Hans. And Hans
Hmm.
will even say in his videos, Hikaru is just playing for a draw. I don't know if that's true or not, but I think people have a psychological problem playing against Hans. So if you want to become a good player at the top level, I think it's actually good to have people suspicious of you in some way.
That's some deep like leveling there. It's like maybe you cheat a little bit so people get
Oh,
suspicious.
you cheat a little? Okay, that's the next step. I wasn't going that route.
Okay, so Kramnik posts on Twitter. I have received this email. I received this morning the following email. Dear Vladimir, in round 5 of today's early title Tuesday, March 12th, you resigned against Jose Martinez or Jospam on move 2, deliberately resigning a game with the intention of not playing against a specific opponent. Directly violates both our competitive events policy and community policy. So now who's violating policies, Mr. Kramnik? Your actions have a ripple effect that compromises the integrity and standings of a prize event. This is an official warning. Future violations may result in suspension from prize events. As always, you can reach out to me directly with any questions or concerns. My line is always open. And I feel for the guy who wrote this email, International Master Casa Corley, for chess.com, who I think is pushing for GM too. I think he's got a couple GM norms. So thank you for Casa Corley for saying what we all want to say, but in a professional way. Basically, stop. uh, he posted his whole reply with a bunch of threads, but it's not even worth getting into.
Do you think we could have Kramnik on the podcast?
Not anymore. I don't think there's any chance of that.
At
I'm happy to have him on and talk to him, of course. He's a legend, but he's kind of got to stop, right?
some point.
I was gonna say something else about Kramnik too, but I just forgot it.
Did you see Justin said in the chat he played Jaspam in Arena Kings?
Oh, and Arena King's nice. Since these accusations, Jospin has played in a Title Tuesday event with the Chess.com staff there watching him, and I think he got third place in the tournament. So he kind of like
Oh,
proved that he can really do it. I have no reason to suspect he's suspicious at this point. Getting third in Title Tuesday is not easy, even if you are cheating. Title Tuesday is tough.
yeah. I feel like once you have someone there live sitting next to you, I mean, that's gonna be pretty hard to cheat. A
There was
proctor.
a there's a famous case back in the old online poker days. There was this one guy who would play sit and goes, and he was a break-even player. He basically never made any money, but he made a ton of money off of the rake back or like the bonuses you got for playing so much.
Hmm.
And this guy would play 100 tournaments at the same time, which everyone thought, okay, there's no way this is possible. This guy is a bot. Like he programmed some bot to play very vanilla poker. He never did anything special. And so he just folds a lot. He makes the money. He min cashes just enough to survive and get money off get the money off of the bonuses for playing.
Hmm.
And PokerStars took this pretty seriously, and they were suspicious of his account because he would make his moves so quick on all these different tournaments. And they emailed this person, and he kept saying, "No, I'm real. I don't know how to prove it, but I have a bunch of like keyboard shortcuts to help me play this many tournaments at the same time." And they're like, well, we just have to come watch you play in your house to like make sure that you're legit. And so
Yeah.
they actually went to his house. That's kind of what this reminded me of with chess.com going to his house. But they went to his house. They said, "Okay, play," and they watched him sit and fold and fold and fold and just have all these hotkeys and 100 tables going at once. And he did it. And they're like, "Okay, he cleared. Yeah, he not doing anything illegal. He's not using any bots or anything." So it seems like chess.com went a similar direction here. Like there's an outlier player who seems to be scoring really high. We don't suspect him of cheating, but something weird is going on. Turns out maybe he's just a really, really good blitz player.
That's really fascinating. So it's almost like playing a chess simul with 100 games where it's like he just has them flashing in front of him and he's keyboard shortcutting and the next one automatically pops up? Or
Yep.
is he like alt tabbing the whole time too?
No, and whenever it's your action on the table will come forward. And he had these keys, so he would just push F, and F would fold. C would call or check, or he could put like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever for different like percentages of the pot to bet. And he would just
Oh,
like basically be typing and folding a lot, and it worked. That's how he would do it.
I mean, I suppose, yeah, if you had keys that could bet like 2/3 of the pot or whatever, half pot,
Yep.
that's pretty legit. You know what that reminds me a little bit of? It's like he's next, he's doing something next level.
Yep.
Um, Professional Tetris. You follow that a little bit?
No.
Oh, well, the players used to play like this, very kosher. You know how you and I would play Nintendo.
Hmm.
Well, then at some point, someone figured out this technique. I think it's called rolling, where they somehow like hold it the other way and do like a triple tap on their controller,
Okay.
and it like moves the block like 5 times in a millisecond instead of actually going click, 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 click with their thumb. And then once one person figured out how to do that and like shattered the highest score, now that's the only way to play. So I
Oh,
imagine like poker stars, he's probably cutting edge, and then all of a sudden people are like, "Hey, it's possible to do 100 tables. We just need all these crazy keyboard shortcuts."
yeah, and there were people who were doing like 20 tables, 15 tables, and that's fine for like 10 people person tables.
Hmm.
But doing 100 was absurd. It was like twice more than anyone else. So it wasn't it was probably like 2 times more than anyone else, but it wasn't like 50 times more than anyone.
Was he timing out on these tables or no?
No, I think he just like had some priority where if there's only like one or two people left, he would just have that table up all the time or something.
Hmm, interesting.
Yep.
I wonder if you could have an assistant like step in, like okay, you let's say you and I were doing it, Jesse, where it's like, okay, when I'm on a table of just two people, you take all those games and then the 10 table ones I'll take and we'd team up. That'd be kind of cool.
That would be against the terms of service though, because you can only have one person per account.
Hmm, okay. Okay, we do have two questions from Josh. Do you want to jump into those?
Um,
Sorry,
okay,
from Cody,
question
from Cody, my bad.
from Cody. Yeah. Okay, Matt, who is your favorite historical player and why?
Do you want to go first?
I have not really, I have not really studied historical players or anything like that, so I don't have any answer. I will say Beth Harmon.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Gary Kasparov. And this leads into question number two from Cody. He wanted to know what was our favorite historical chess tournament of all time? Do you have an answer for that one?
I don't remember what year it was. Let me find it. Okay, my favorite tournament of all time, 2014 Sinkfield Cup,
Oh, I
where
knew he was.
Fabi started, I think 7-0, 8-0. I gotta fact check myself. Um,
I feel like it was
2014.
7-0 with a 14 round event. Didn't he win like the whole first half? Does that sound right?
I'm Googling it. Okay, Fabi started 7 out of 7. So he won the first 7 games of the tournament, and he went a crazy 8.5 out of 10, which is just crazy. I think it was the highest performance rating of any tournament in a single tournament. Yeah, beating Carlsen's performance in 2009 of tournament performance rating of 3,098, almost 3,100. Crazy.
Did Kramnik hear about this?
Yeah, interesting. Interesting.
Interesting. Yes. Um,
All right. What's your
I'll
favorite tournament?
I'll pick a world championship match if that qualifies. I really was into the Kasparov Anand match, which was, I believe, in 1998, I want to say. But they had a lot of really interesting Sicilian games, I remember. That's probably my favorite tournament that I followed closely. Okay, we should ask the chat. Put your favorite chess players of all time. Put your answers in the chat. We do have Karpov from Joshua. Karpov was a really fun player to watch too because he's like super strong positionally, but he also is obviously good tactically too. Got to give to
Gatomsky. Yeah, Magnus is
Magnus.
yeah, Magnus is so good. I love Magnus. And he's got just got that champion swagger. Grown the game so much. Petrosian, yeah. Probably some Kramnik answers 12 months ago.
I see
Kind
a lot
of
of people flooding the chat with Ding Liren.
nope, zero Ding Lorenz in the chat.
I mean, okay, honestly, like 5 years ago, I might have said Kramnik because Kramnik was cutting edge theory on all of the openings, the Berlin defense, but specifically, I really liked his one knight f3 repertoire. And this was
Hmm.
back when I was working with my friend Scott. And we would copy a lot of the ideas that Kramnik had in his knight f3 games.
Yeah, that's cool. That's still an opening that hardly gets played. I was just looking at the Lichess database this morning, and it was like 79% of games are either D4 or E4, and everything else is like 3% or less. You can really throw your opponent off with C4 or knight F3, something like that.
Yeah, they don't really start to become popular until like 2000 level, I feel. And then maybe it's around 10% for one of them and 8% for the other for
Hmm.
C4 and knight f3.
Yeah. All right, that's gonna do it for episode 10. Thank you everyone for watching. Ratings, reviews, subscriptions, that all help a ton. Remember, you can use promo or checkout code Lucky for 35% off any of our courses. We'll link our courses in the show notes. And we will see you next week. Thanks, everyone.